So I started the Spirits in September of 1993. And that dream really started when I was probably 8 years old, when my grandmother was doing the dishes. And I had just recently got the privilege of going to a movie. And the movie was Grease. And when I came home from that movie, I was so excited that I got to go, but I could remember a dance to the song Grease Lightning. And I ran in that house and I asked my grandmother, "You've got to watch me, you got to watch me. I've got this dance." And she took the time to sit down and watch me. And you know, I probably didn't know the dance perfect, and I had never had any dance training, but I did it. And she looked at me and said, "You're a great dancer. You're amazing. You're good." I started it when I became a mom. I got married at 20 years old. I had my daughter at 22, and I just needed something to get out of the house. And I always wanted to have my own dance team. I wanted to have the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, but I wanted to have it here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, so I didn't leave my family, so I could still be with all my friends and what I knew. And so with that dream, I contacted a few friends.
You know, that's why it started, right? We love dance. We wanted to do something after high school, and to get together with people, like-minded people who love to dance, that's exactly why we kept coming back. And then it grew, and the reasons you come back are different because you're making friends.
So I called these girls and said, "Would you be interested in dancing? And we're not gonna be a part of a sport team. I mean, we have the Colonels, but I wouldn't be a part of them. There's no football team here. There's nothing, it'd be just our own thing." And those girls said, yeah. So they came to my house, they listened to my meeting, and we went out to my garage, and I showed them the first dance.
I know Tiffany was joking, saying we started coming because she was great, but that really is the truth. I met Tiffany as a Silver Bullet cheerleader, and I came to Spirits because I fell in love with Tiffany's personality. So it started off doing something for a friend and loving to dance. But I continued coming back because at that time in my life, I was a mother, and we all know when we have kids, everything we do is for our kids, based around our kids. And this was something that was for me.
I didn't know where to go, and I contacted Farmer State Bank in Hiawatha. And that wonderful small bank gave me the basement for free. And that gave me time to figure out, can I get a dance studio? And I opened that dance studio.
You don't know yet what it's gonna feel like to not have it. And so I'm hopeful that you feel the hole and you're gonna wanna be like, "Oh, just kidding, one more show. It's just a filler. It's just a filler show. It's just a little filler show.
Filler show.
You know, because you haven't felt it yet. And I think that this conversation, next year at this time, you're gonna be like, wow, that is a giant hole that I've filled for so many people for so long.
But I would hear music when I was really young, and I would do dances to the music. I did that so often, but I really never knew what to do with it. And when I made Alburnett High School Poms, that's when I started putting the moves to the music, and I could see that I could do it really quickly. Now, I never thought I was great at it. I've never thought that. I have no dance background, but it came quickly, which means I could probably make things up really fast. And then if I could just teach them to people and go out and perform.
I started when I was 18, which I was the youngest one on the team my first year. So it was kind of cool just to be around all these people of different ages and backgrounds, and being able to know that they've kind of gone through some of the experiences that I was just going through in life. And that just was nice to have somebody have already gone through that to be able to help you, which they did.
I was in my early 20s when I started. I was going out, having fun. It was so much fun. I had a blast. I got to go with my friends, and everybody would know us when we go out. It was awesome.
Well, then when I started Spirits, I never really had free time because I had a little daughter. And then I had a couple more daughters. I had a family. So my time was the car ride to dance to see the team. So I made up all my dances in the car. So probably every routine that you have ever seen, it's probably taking me 20 minutes to make up.
This room means so much to me. And it's gonna be hard to not come here on Wednesdays anymore. But back in 2013, I mean, I think I was only, 20 at the time, and I was dancing and I couldn't dance. I was so weak and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And then, months go by. I was even struggling teaching and just all that. And I think I was still just teaching the tinies at the time, but I was struggling, and then that's really when I found out I was diagnosed. I had cancer, and I had no idea that's what it was going to be. But it really has changed my life forever. So it'll be 10 years in March. So I found out in this room, and I told the girls in this room, and I think that's why I do such a good job fighting my cancers, because of this room.
Your cancer, in the very beginning, stage 4, pancreatic cancer, neuroendocrine tumors, 3% survival rate, and my oldest child. I always wanted a daughter. It was really hard to hear. But you had 2 ways to look at it. It was either we cry and we are done and we give up, or we act like we don't have it and we live life to every moment and we share the story to help others out there that need it.
You're very popular, so that means I was very popular too. I feel like everybody knew you're the hot mom. Even in elementary school, when Stacy's mom came on, it was always Courtney's mom. Popular, well-known, you knew everybody wherever we went.
I get to be somebody other than a mom and a wife, and I just get to come in here and it's just me. I'm focused on myself. I put my own shoes on, not my kids' shoes, and I get to just be free for a night.
But now I hope that I am that same inspiration for the younger girls. I know I've gotten really close to Crystal, Courtney, and Cassidy because they were younger when I first started. Now hopefully they can look at me maybe, or any of the other young girls on the team. I want to be that inspiration for them, just like Tiffany and Paulette, Emily, Michelle, Deetra, Jess, all of them were for me as well.
So why, after 30 years, am I saying goodbye? Well, I'm 52. I think it's time to say goodbye. I think I've put in my time and volunteering and all the events in 30 years that we have given our time to, that we have volunteered at, that we have worked at, that we have performed at. Every one of these girls have volunteered their time.
Okay, something that I always remember, and I still talk to my kids about it, is everybody has a story. So I always tell my kids, don't ever judge somebody. You never know what their story is. Always be a friend, be the shoulder that they need to, an ear to listen. Anything sticks with me till this day, so yeah.
So for me, I would say acceptance and ownership. So be accepting of others and accept who you are and your faults and your greatness and all of those things, and then ownership. So own if you're great, own when you make mistakes, own when you need to apologize, and those 2 things help you grow.
Taking ownership of who you are and all of that. My favorite advice from you has always been your parenting. I love the way you parent your kids. And so I remember Caleb was little and your story was, we're at prom and this guy's just walking with this girl. No, you hold your girl. I'm like, tell Caleb to hold his girl. I just all those small little stories that you have. That's my favorite. All your parenting, just little tips on how to raise nice, decent humans. That's always been my favorite part. And growing up with growing in the room with other moms and stepmoms. And
be thankful for what you have is really a true statement, because if you are thankful for what you have, you actually are happier. than when you think of what you're missing out on. And that's been my life lesson. So saying goodbye is really hard, but I think it's time because I'm tired. So I think I need to embrace this moment. And when everyone asks me, what are you going to do next? Tiffany, what are you doing next? I think right now what I'm going to do next is enjoy being a grandmother. I think right now what I'm going to do next is watch my daughter, who has been fighting cancer for 10 years, and the fact that we've been sharing this story, and now she starts a new treatment. I want to be the mother that's there. I don't want to have regret and go, oh, I wish I would have been there more. So I think closing my doors, I get to focus more on that, and the friendships I've made and the family I have built on my own. It's really not going anywhere. I just don't see them every week, which means now I have to make the time. And that is something that everybody struggles to do. Make the time to see those friends. Make the time to be with your family. Make the time for yourself. I think that's what I'm doing after 30 years. Are you ready for the next set of routines? I think it's going to be my favorite. It is the girls showcasing the last 30 years of routines that I have made up in my car. I hope you enjoy it.